Well, good morning everybody and welcome back to the farm. Welcome to 2024. With a new year, it brings a new season and new hope. This could just be the biggest year of this little farm's life. You never know. Alrighty guys, so I think it's the 8th or 9th of January today. I've been back on deck for about a week. We had a couple of weeks off over Christmas New Year, which was absolutely awesome. We went down to Melbourne for Christmas with some family and it just rained and rained and rained. Anybody from Victoria would know it was not a very good Christmas. But yeah, then we had some time away with some friends over New Year's as well, which was really nice. So. And speaking of rain, we've probably had about 100 millimetres, somewhere around there, since the end of November, 4 inches. So all I've been working on since I've been back is summer spraying, getting the whole farm sprayed, because we got weeds coming out of our buttocks. And unfortunately, the sprayer cracked up its 250 hours yesterday when I was spraying, and I've still got a bit to go, but I'm just going to get the engine oil changed in it this morning before I head back out and continue on with the project. So just get this oil changed quickly and filter, and then we can keep rolling with spraying, which is really the priority at the moment. Oi! I was hanging on by a thread. Yes, I was really hoping that this wouldn't be due for a service until yeah, we were done with summer spraying, so I could get the thing in the shed and give it a big pre-season. But anyway, we'll just have to quickly drop the oil on it and keep it moving. I actually said the wind was supposed to be really calm this morning, like virtually no wind until around late morning, midday, but it's quite a nice little breeze out there at the moment, and we actually want a little bit of a breeze when we're spraying. If it's too calm, you can end up with what's called an inversion layer, and the chemical doesn't get down to the ground. It can get picked up and transported miles and miles away, basically. So if you've ever driven down a dirt road on a really calm night and you look behind and the dust is just going nowhere, it's just hovering in the air, that's basically like an inversion layer. So I think, don't quote me on it, I think you need, excuse me, 6 or 7 km/h winds to avoid that. And what happens then is, as the wind's blowing over the top of the ground, it creates kind of like a tumbling effect, and it gets the chemical down to the ground if you don't get anything lifting off going where it shouldn't go. So I was thinking it was going to be a bit of a slow morning this morning, but I think as soon as we got oil in here, I reckon we can go hit it. And we're not going to be able to spray, we'll just do a tank full. That's about all I can do at the moment in the mornings because it's just too warm. If it's too warm, you get too much droplet evaporation. It's not ideal for spraying, so we've been making the most of the mornings and the evenings at the moment. So like last night I was out spraying until it was about 9 o'clock I think when I got home. So that's just the way it rolls. Got to get the job done, got to get the weeds killed. Just using a bit of bore water for this summer spraying because we've got so much to do. We'll just run out of rainwater if we if we use rainwater for the whole lot. But even though we have had quite a bit of rain, we want to conserve it because we've still got to do seeding and that in a few months' time, and we'll need it then as well. So bore water it is for now. Another bloody traffic jam. Always, every morning. I'm not even 10 k's north of the house and it is a totally different day up here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is quite foggy up here still, which is unreal. I thought it looked a bit like that up here, but I thought, nah, it wasn't foggy at home this morning. It can't be, but yeah, it's not very heavy, but interesting nonetheless. It is seriously damp up here at the moment too, just because of that fog. But look at this mess of summer weeds up here. There's everything growing up here. Potato weed, marshmallow weed, marshmallow, potato. Got some grasses in there. I'm sure there's a heap of paddy melons out here. Dad was saying this paddock's not that urgent. Well, yeah, no, I think he's wrong. It's pretty urgent. It needs to be sprayed, so. Anyway, let's get into it. I was rushing around at home there as I was filling up, thinking, man, I should have been going earlier. It's starting to warm up. You know, it's going to be lunchtime by the time I finish. It'll be getting pretty hot by then, but then I drive, you know, 8 k's up the road and the grass is still wet and there's a fog, so there you go. So we did actually get more rain on the weekend just gone, so it's Tuesday today. We were forecast to get maybe 20 to 30 mil, and we only ended up getting about 14 at home, but in the town I know they had about double what we had, and they're only about 2 kilometers away, so just goes to show you the difference a little bit of distance can make with a summertime thunderstorm. So pretty incredible. But up here where we are here, I know there was a bit more rain up here as well, and man, there's just a lot of juvenile weeds still coming up here. So yeah, anyway, it's a bit of a mess in here. There's all sorts of stuff coming up, so hopefully this will take good care of it. Now, it might not seem like it to you guys, but I have not picked up this GoPro and filmed for at least a month. So you guys wouldn't know because I just edit the videos and I schedule them to go out at about 2 a week. So ever since we finished harvest and cleaned up around this time in December, I put the camera down and I just forgot about it for a while. And oh, it's nice to have a good break, nice to step away from the camera, nice to get away over Christmas and New Year's this year and just, you know, not have much on the mind, which is it's a pleasant change of pace. So I think starting this year, we're probably going to go back to only 1 video a week. I was doing 2 videos a week for the last half of last year roughly, but it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. It goes from sort of being a hobby to basically a second job, and my nights are spent in front of the computer most of the time. We got a lot of stuff to do around home, and look, there's a lot of work to be done, but it's probably going to be a lot of mechanical stuff and getting ready for seeding to start the year. So yeah, look, we'll just see how things pan out, but like I said, there's just so much stuff to do. I've got to try and spread my time somewhere, and I am also a father of 2 young girls, which I like to spend time with them as well when I can, so anyway. But you might be asking yourself, well, what's been going on, Henry, since you've been back? I've been back for about a week. Basically just this, spraying when I can, and when I haven't been doing this, I've been in the office. So had a fair bit of paperwork to catch up on, last quarter's BAS, just tax stuff. I need to get budgets and stuff done for the bank. Been figuring out fertiliser, how much fertiliser we need. Ordering gypsum and lime, we'll be spreading a bit of that again. Crop planting, that was all done during harvest when we had a rain delay. We just went in and just did it all then, just get it off the mine. We just sit down with the agronomist. He has a map of the farm. We shut up, you noisy thing. Yeah, he has a map of the farm, and we just discuss what we're going to plant where, fertiliser options, chemical options. We sort of sit down, nut it all out, figure it all out. So all that side of it's all done. He'll do us up a book with everything in it, costs and rates and everything, and he'll deliver that to us in the next month or so. So all that side of stuff's sort of taken care of, but there's a lot of stuff in here that I need to get down on paper as well, just so I can get it off the mine, get it in a diary or on a work plan or something like that, and then I can just start programming jobs in. and working through them one by one, because yeah, there is no shortage of things to do. Foxhole, that's a new one. That one has not been there for very long. Well, that is another mess taken care of, guys. So we're just going to run down now. We'll run out the last of this tank in another paddock. And then I've only got that paddock to finish, and I'm pretty much up to date with spraying. We've still got a few paddocks that, look, they'll probably need a spray, but sort of a watch and wait sort of scenario. There's nothing too urgent about them. So yeah, I've done pretty well really over the last week to get as much sprayed as I have. I think, like I said earlier in the video, there's been quite a few early mornings and late nights, but it needs to be done, and you damn thing. Yeah, it needs to be done, and we're getting it done. I feel a little bit rude and all over the place because I'm just not really looking at the camera too much. I'm concentrating on what I'm doing. So I did have a few comments on my videos at the end of harvest saying congratulations, well done, all finished with harvest, looking forward to a bit of a recap on it. Well, the recap is that I spoke fairly well about everything during harvest. All of our crops were below average across the board. They were decent for the year, don't get me wrong. We're very grateful for the harvest we had. Some people don't like talking about harvest yields and that sort of thing. I honestly don't care at all. Our wheat did about 3.3 tonne to the hectare at home. It did 2.2 tonne to the hectare out of Balloli North. I'd say 2.5 to 3 is probably average out of Balloli. We're looking minimum 3.5 here, so you know, the crops here were only just below average, but they were still a hair below. But you just can't go through spring that long without any rain and not expect to be below average. So the canola did about 1.4 tonne to the hectare. The barley, well, we hardly had any barley anyway, and that went, that was the wrong variety anyway. That only did about 3 tonne. And the beans were the surprise package. We were thinking maybe 1.5 tonne to the hectare there, but they averaged 2.2 tonne to the hectare, which was just incredible for the year, honestly. Very, very happy with that. They do get the nickname failure beans. We have not experienced them like that yet, so we hope that it stays that way. Right, we are out now, so we'll head home, park her up for the rest of the day. So now that last year's behind you, Henry, what's your expectations for 2024? Well, I love it when you guys ask me that question, because I've got some thoughts on it, but I think it's going to be a decent enough year this year. I think we're going to be average or above average. Why do I think that? Well, actually, let's just go home in a minute and let's nerd out. Let's nerd out. Let's go do that, all right? You guys have to wait a minute. Anyway, before we go up to the house and I show you how I came to my prediction for this year, I'll show you this as well, which is a delta T chart, which is something we have to go by with temperature and humidity for spraying. So we're spraying basically in optimal conditions. So this here is the delta T chart. So what we want to be doing is spraying in this green zone here. This is the optimal spraying, preferred spraying conditions. The yellow is our marginal spraying conditions. And this just refers to our humidity and our temperature. So when we started spraying this morning, I think we were about 21 degrees and 75% humidity. So we were right about there. So we were spraying in optimal conditions. So all that really means is that our chemical is going to land on the plant. It's going to do the best job that it can. We're going to minimise evaporation. If we're down in this zone or down in this brown zone, it's starting to get way too hot and dry for spraying. And I think when we finished, what were we? We'll have a look. So we're 26 and 52. So we were 26 degrees there and 52% humidity. So we were still in the optimal zone for spraying, but we were starting to get down more towards this marginal zone on the bottom where it's starting to get a bit warm and dry. So This here is something that I refer to all the time to make sure I'm spraying in the right conditions and we're doing the right thing and doing the best job that we can. Now, time for my prediction, or my explanation of my prediction. And bearing in mind, I'm no meteorologist, but anyway, I'll just run you through my thinking. Here's my map of Australia, little old Jamestown down there in South Australia. So what drives our weather mainly is from the Southern Ocean, the cold fronts that pop up. They usually are pretty good producers for us and bring us winter rain, or quite a bit of winter rain. Up here in the high country, the other driver and what gives us our really wet years is the Indian Ocean. So when we get a negative Indian Ocean dipole, or above average sea surface temperatures over here, we get a lot of moisture in the air, it gets fed into the jet stream, the cold fronts come along and pick that up, and then bang, you get the clash of the cold air and the hot air, and you get a lot of rain down in this southeastern corner of the country. So that's what's forecast to occur this year, a negative IOD. What happened last year, 2023, was a positive IOD, meaning cooler than normal sea surface temperatures, meaning less rain. And that's what happened. We only had 13 out of 18 inches of rain down in our part of the world. So we were definitely deficient. The eastern states, they benefit from the IOD, but they also have the El Nino La Nina over in the Coral Sea and the Pacific Ocean. So that's La Nina is when warm water comes over and sits just off the east coast of Australia. That gets pumped in via the easterlies. Very wet result down in these eastern states as well. So at the moment we're supposed to be in El Nino. The people who live along this east coast might tell you differently. It's supposed to be a dry phase. They've had an absurd amount of rain, honestly, over the last couple of months, so it's a bit strange, but they are saying next year possibly going to be going back to La Nina thresholds, which would be another wet cycle. So we've gone from 21, 22 being back-to-back negative IODs, never in history has that happened, to a positive IOD back to a negative. So it's a bit strange, it's all over the place. And that leads me to the Lock Valley forecast of average to above average crops this year. So you've heard it here first, guys. Check back in with me in probably November and we'll see how we've gone. But I hope that that didn't bore all of you too much. But I'm going to leave this video here now because I'm just going to spend the rest of the day in the office, get a few more things done in there, and I guess I'll pick up the camera again when something exciting is happening, but I don't really know when that'll be. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of you guys for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. You guys have yourselves a good one, and until next time, see ya.